Ever since I was a kid, I enjoyed television on cable. Mostly comedies, Reba, King of Queens, The Parkers, Friends, Will and Grace, My Wife and Kids. I watched a bunch of those shows growing up. And then there was the shows that I guess my brain blocked out because wow, oh my god. Everybody loves Raymond. Holy shit, I forgot how batshit crazy Marie was. I really did, because as a kid, it's funny. As an adult, it's terrifying. Marie is your everyday toxic boy mom that makes everyone's life a miserable experience because of her own life choices. And instead of trying to better yourself, she instead puts the burden of her chaotic nature onto her family, mostly her sons. And originally, this video was gonna be about Marie and Deborah's relationship, but I can't help but to look over to Robert, Marie's biggest victim. Let me explain. So Robert is a cop that lives with his parents at the beginning of the show. He's also Raymond's older brother. And the show likes to make jokes about Robert's low self-esteem, his looks, and many other things, which is weird because Robert is awesome. He takes down a bad guy in an episode. That's badass. But being that this show caters around Raymond, or rather to Raymond, Robert tends to be the butt of many jokes relating to, again, low self-esteem, his looks, and many other things. Within this comedy, there is heavy abuse, and that mostly comes from his relationship with his mother, Marie. One of the reasons why I don't like Marie is simple. She's very manipulative, and she likes to mess around with Raymond and Robert's relationship. It's clear as day that she favors Raymond more than Robert. She constantly makes it known by talking about Raymond, brushing off Robert's concerns about something or affection in favor for Raymond. It's a piece of shit move. It's very fucked up. And in some episodes, she even pits her sons against one another for her love. And at first it's funny, but at second glance, it's fucked up. Especially when you consider that Robert will always lose at the game Marie has set into place for Raymond to win. Not to mention, she ruined Robert's chances of working for the FBI. I love this episode, but this episode is kind of messed up to watch. It's hilarious. It's funny. But it really is a dark episode, and it really does show the selfishness of Marie. So Robert had been working towards a position in the FBI for years, and he has now been called in to take this position. And we see the joy and excitement in his face. We see that he's happy, he's giddy, he's jumping around. Everybody's excited and happy for him, but Marie. And she tries to tell Robert that it's a bad idea, but Robert kind of brushes off her concerns. And this is something that he rarely does, so Marie's gonna go into full demon mode. So Marie does everything in her power to ruin this interview, and what I love about this episode is that it does play really hard to make it look like Marie is just making mistakes or she's anxious and this and that, but at second glance, I'm just thinking to myself, Marie, you know what you're doing. The first thing she does is ruin Robert's suit, and mind you, Marie does not mess up when it comes to laundry. She has made that very clear in many episodes. In fact, she breaks into Raymond's house just to do his laundry in the middle of the night because she doesn't like how Deborah does laundry. As someone who does laundry, that is the dumbest shit I have ever heard. Whatever. She ruins his suit, but Robert is able to play this off. And it makes sense. They live in New York. It's a big city. Everyone's constantly moving. People are bound to get dirty or something. So Robert does well in the interview and everything is going fine until Marie faxes over a letter explaining to the head of the FBI HR why Robert's suit is ruined and why you should hire him, and that she's sorry.
FBI Agent Garfield, I'm writing to ask for your understanding. You have an interview this morning with my son, Robert Barone.
Respectfully, I would have lost my damn mind. Also, for those wondering, a fax machine is basically like a telephone printer. I don't know if fax machines are still being used today, but basically you throw a picture of a document into a machine that is a printer, and then it prints out a copy of that paper to the person who also has a fax machine that you originally sent it to. I miss fax machines. I had one at my house and my dad had one in his office. So when my sister and I were like separated, but we were bored as shit, we would fax each other goofy faces just to pass the time. It was fun. Anyway, back to Marie. After this humiliating moment, Robert is extremely upset. Understandable. Robert gets so mad that he basically tells her to stay out of his life, for which she does not do. She goes to the FBI HQ.
I really think the FBI could use my son.
Mrs. Barone.
And cries to the head of HR about how she does not want her son to join the FBI.
He's a year away from not being a police officer, which means I could stop worrying about him every second of the day. I want him to be safe. Now he wants to go from one dangerous job to another. How long do I have to walk around with a knot in my stomach? Forever? I can't do it anymore. It's too much.
Are you kidding me? Marie, this is not your choice. But she gets her way in the end because she had to embarrass Robert so much that he can't even show his face at the FBI headquarters anymore. God. Ooh, I would have punched the air.
This bitch.
Ooh, I would have punched a wall if I was Robert. Like, say what you want. If I had been training for years for a position and my mother, who knew that I had been training for years, sabotages my chance of getting that job, I don't know if I ever wanted to see you again. Like, I don't know if I ever wanted to know that you existed. Like, that's a punch in the gut. That's anger. That's rage. Wow. Okay. On to the next thing. And this leads me to his dating life. Now, Robert's dating life is hella complicated. However, we're just gonna focus on the BS that Marie brings to Robert. First off, because of Robert's low self-esteem, this leads him doing stupid shit, like cheating on his soulmate. This is Amy. She's Deborah's best friend and Robert's on and off, again, girlfriend before they got married. Robert would do something horrible, and that is cheat on Amy with 2 women while still being in a relationship with Amy. It is awful, I will not lie. But what Marie does to Robert is where I have to look at this woman and be like, the fuck is wrong with you? Because of Robert's bad choices when it comes to dating, Marie decides to bring all of his exes into her home to talk to Robert and explain to him why he's such a piece of shit. Okay, forget the wall. I'd punch a window, because what in the fuck were you thinking? She basically brought all of his exes here to explain to him why he's a horrible partner. And the irony of all this is that yes, Robert does have low self-esteem. Yes, he does need help. But this is not how you get the help. You go to therapy.
I apologize to both of you for any hurt feelings that I may have caused, but I hope you believe me when I tell you that it was never, ever my intention.
All right, Robbie, you don't seem to be helping anymore, so maybe you should go now.
Also, most of his low self-esteem and issues comes from his shitty relationship with his mother. And Marie, when everybody figures that shit out, she plays dumb. I'm pretty sure Marie takes enjoyment torturing Robert. She constantly belittles him for never having a partner nor kids, even going as far as to say that there is something wrong with him. And when Robert does find someone, Amy, when their relationship has finally found grounds where they can get married and be happy, I remember this episode. Like, how I felt in this episode is exactly how I felt when Kira was gonna tell Reba if she wanted to live in her house or not. Like, I was on the edge of my seat. So when I saw the episode, I could not help but to just laugh. And to this day, I still laugh at the episode. But holy crap, as a kid, my jaw was on the ground Why? Because Marie has spent the majority of the show talking down on Robert for not having a wife nor kids like Raymond. She constantly compares the two and uses Raymond to shame Robert. And now that we are finally here, where he is finally able to get married to the love of his life after seasons of finding flaws and finding a way to fix it, after years of constant abuse and everything, after all of that, Marie just stands up and she's just like, I don't think you should get married. I don't feel like you're ready for commitment. I would have thrown my shoe. Got me fucked up if I was Robert. Robert has the patience of a saint. Oh my god. Bottom line, Marie's abuse towards Robert isn't even his own fault. My theory as to why she dislikes Robert is because she and Frank had unprotected sex before marriage. Feeling ashamed, they would get married because she is a Christian, and you know how that is. This would lead to her being in a sad marriage with Frank due to Robert's creation. And with no place to put her anger and rage, Robert would become the scapegoat, basically her whipping stick, the lightning rod of her negative emotions. And this goes back to how she takes enjoyment pitting Robert and Raymond against one another. If Robert isn't doing something that she approves of, she uses Raymond as an example and sometimes as a way to mock Robert. She constantly points out how Raymond is married and has, a wife and kids, things that Robert does want and is trying to pursue, but is having problems getting. She never seems to offer any grace towards Robert, just criticism and insults. Then she walks away like a happy old lady that just picked a flower from the ground. As if you didn't just, grab a mag and put like 8 emotionally damaged bullets into the back of your son's self-esteem. Marie is a very abusive mother, but luckily I can say that Robert and Raymond's relationship, while fragile, is still okay. Marie is the blueprint for the toxic boy mom in-laws, I swear. Long story short, Marie is this little green goblin that just terrorizes everyone around her, even Raymond, who she supposedly loves to the deepest pit of her dark soul. But this story sorta has a happy ending for Robert in a way. He's healed and he does grow as an adult as time goes on. And at some point, he and Amy do get married and they do start a life together. And that's all I'm gonna say. Yep, that's it. Roll the credits. If this video does well, I might do a video on Deborah and Marie's relationship because, oof,